Welcome to this edition of Black Beat Podcast, where we take an unapologetically Black approach to profiling the people and stories that are significant to our community and the advancement of our community. I'm John Washington, the CEO and editor-in-chief of Flosser Media, your host for each Black Beat Podcast. Today, we are honored to introduce Mimi Abdulai, president of the Angolan community organization. That this nonprofit organization's main focus is to build solidarity and friendship and to make Angola, its culture, and the need of the Angolan community more well known in our community. Welcome, Mimi. We're honored today to have you on our podcast. So tell me a little bit about Mimi, this lady in this gorgeous braids and these beads. Who is this lady? Where did you come from, Mimi? What brought you here? How did you get to the U.S.? All these exciting questions that we have here for you today. Talk to us a little bit about Mimi. Can you tell us a bit about your history and your story, Mimi?
Definitely. I would like, first of all, to thank you, Mr. Washington, for this opportunity to speak about my country, my people, my culture, and ultimately introduce myself to this beautiful community of Portland, Oregon. My name is Mimi Abdulai. I am originally from Angola, which is southwest country in Africa. It's closer to South Africa, just so people can have a reference, because most people know where South Africa is, but it's South Africa, Namibia, Angola. So we're kind of in this progression. Angola is a former Portuguese colony, so the official language in Angola is Portuguese. Most people speak Portuguese in Angola, but actually we have over 20 dialects, languages in Angola, which we would like to promote due to the fact that Angola was a colony of Portugal for more than 500 years, was one of the last, if not the last, African country to be freed, to obtain its independence in 1975. So we were under colonial governorship for 500 years. So most of our culture, our languages were kind of erased, dissipated. Only some older generation are speaking our dialects. So we would like to be able to bring back what makes us Angolan. So we are, we have a population of about 32 million inhabitants. You are well aware that
here in the U.S. Are you saying there are 32 million inhabitants from Angola here in the U.S.? Wow.
Yeah, no, here in the U.S. in the state of Oregon, we are about close to 400 people. 400 Angolan, with the earliest settlement arriving in about the early 1990s, 1990, 1991. We had about 2 families that were refugees and relocated here to Angola. And we have had since then a small migration of Angolan in the Pacific Northwest. Most of our population here in the Pacific Northwest is made up of young student age, college age people who have settled here, who have established their own family, who are trying to integrate in the Portland, Oregon community. So we are known as Angolan for our culture. Our dance kizomba, it's all over the world. During the pandemic, there was the song Jerusalem that was choreographed by Angolan that took over and provided so much relief to people all over the world during this pandemic. There is nobody who did not hear about that song Jerusalem. So, but people did not know that choreography is actually those people dancing with the pots in their head, head, are actually Angolan.
Wow.
So we are a very friendly people. We adapt to change. You can see by our colonial history. But yes, we are here and we are involved in the community. And of course, we are African. We are, first of all, African and Black. but we are open to all culture. You can see that Angola is a melting point, pot of multiple culture, mostly the Portuguese and Brazilian cultures.
Well, you about to make me throw away this script because because you done told me some stuff. You done gave me a whole lot more to hang my hat on. Of course, we all want to know about Portuguese and slavery, but we may not. That might be another story for you to share with us. But the Portuguese, I would assume, were very instrumental in the slave trade, weren't they?
They were. Portugal is not well known right now in a modern era, but in the past they were right there on top. I would say they were considered the United States of their time because they were leading all this slavery migration. We say, okay, Christopher Columbus, when he discovered America, all those things, Portuguese was really on top of the business during the slavery era. And we had a lot of our brothers and sisters shipped to Europe, to both Southern and Northern America, and as far as some of the Asian countries as well. So
Wow.
yes, Portuguese was a strong power in the slavery business.
Well, tell me, sister, out of all the 400 Angolans here in Oregon, how did you get elected to be the spokesperson and the advocate for the community? Tell me a little bit about what influenced you to get there.
Well, it's a long story.
Okay, we got 1 hour.
It's a long, short story, by the way. So I moved here to Oregon because my husband was here working for a tech company. So I moved here to work for the same company as well. And I was doing some interpreting, which is translation, medical interpreting for different people. Actually, this one was for a Somali person. So I was interpreting in Swahili at OHSU. And during my lunch break, I met this gentleman that passed by and asked me where I was from. And I said, I'm from Angola. And mind you, I was already here for about 4 years or 5 years. I've never met any other Angolan. And that was in 2000, I believe, 2017. And he asked me where I was from. I was like, I'm from Angola. He's like, I am also from Angola.
Wow.
You should come to a Thanksgiving. So I was invited to Thanksgiving. You will know that Angolan love to party and love to invite people. So I went to the Thanksgiving, and there I met a wonderful family. They're called the Capuya family. They're actually one of the 2 earliest settled family here in Oregon. So I met my brother Daniel Capuya, and his wife Alicia Moreland, who you should know. She's a great figure. She's a Black activist and figure here, and the great doctor was at OHSU, but she's now at Harvard University. So I met them, and they told me of their plan to move to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and that just because of my interest in the community, I should be the next president. So voting happened the next 2 years after that, and here I am. The people spoke, democracy spoke, and I am the president of the community.
Right on, sis. And yes, I know Miss Moreland. And could you tell me a little bit? So, what's been your challenges as a female president of a nonprofit here in Oregon? What's been some of your challenges?
The challenges, which I will call opportunities, are many. First of all, because I see that most of the nonprofit, mainly African or Black nonprofit, are dominated by male figures, right? So trying to break into that position is a little bit challenging in the fact that Angola, just because of the language, a lot of people, when you speak of Angola, they don't know where Angola is. Some of them, actually, fun fact, they come and say, oh, is it a prison in Indiana? Because there's a famous prison in Indiana called Angola. But like, no, it might have been, the name might have been come from the country, but the country did not come from the name. So,
or from the prison, huh?
So that's those are the challenges, and then again, being an African American or a Black nonprofit, we have our own small challenges as well that we encounter as far as getting our community recognized up there, as far as getting some fundings, as far as just the ease of penetrating into this nonprofit community here in Oregon. But those opportunities, thankfully, there's always helping hand. There's always a good Samaritan who is willing to show you the rope and introduce you to the right people. But we still have a lot of work to do as far as establishing non-Black nonprofits here in Oregon.
You speak of the interesting dynamic between women breaking into a patriarchal environment. Was Africa, where Angola is, was the nature of the male-female posture similar to the U.S., or is it different?
Well, I would say, with my knowledge of history of Angola, mind you, I studied in Angola for a very short period of time, but I still study history of Angola. I believe that the patriarchal element in society in Angola,
male-run society, you know. Yeah.
Yes, the male-run society came after our what would I say, our encounter with the Portuguese colonialism, because we had a very strong queen. She's called Zingambande.
Gotcha.
She was a very strong queen in not only in Angola but in Africa. She's known for that. She dealt very well with the Portuguese when they were coming at first as traders. So I believe we were not always a male-dominated society.
Got you.
But in the present, we are a very, very male-dominated society, and we're trying to break away from there. We've seen a lot of higher public offices being occupied by women, but there's still work. We're still very much a patriarchal society, just like most of African countries.
Wow. And so, I'm setting you up for this question, because this question comes tell me a little bit about what your perception, as you know, the country has been going through a lot of race change or transition. What is your perception? Talk to me a little bit about your perception of race relations here in America since you've been here in relationship to where you come from.
That's a charged question, but
yeah, yeah. You knew I was coming with it. Yeah,
that's relevant.
Yeah.
So it is coming from a country like Angola, first of all, and having lived in various countries in the world. I would say we I don't know right now, but in the past, at least I would say 15, 20 years, the way we were raised in Angola was, at least I was raised to look at people based not based on their race. So race was not a conversation that happened in my house. We had every race in the neighborhood that we lived, every race imaginable in that neighborhood. Myself, I have family members from different races, so we never actually looked at race. So it was a high opening when I moved here to the U.S. Because then I had to confront it. In the beginning, I was like, oh no, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose my, what would I say, my ingenuity. If I don't know that, I don't want to have to deal with it. It was more like, I want to have to deal with it. But in reality, you have to deal with it, because this is our reality. When you move here, They're not going to ask you if you're African. The first thing they see, it's your color. You are black. It doesn't matter if you're black from France, if you're black from where, you are black. And that defines you a lot in America. It defines who you are. Just the moment you enter a room, the first thing that differentiates you from other people, it's your race, the color of your skin. So yes, this conversation, they need to continue to happen. It's a little overwhelming and a little sad. And the issue is so big that you say, okay, maybe it's gonna get better so that my children or my children's, they don't have to deal with this. And then you say, okay, I was thinking you'll get better when I am older, when I become a parent. But now I dread the time that has to come to talk to my 8-year-old about race, right? About those things that she might have to encounter out there in the world, even if I don't teach her here in the house, in our family, but she will need to deal with it. And I dread that for my nephews who are male, that they will be judged and not just by the color of their skin, but their stature, but whatever they're going to do is going to be questioned. Are they too nice? Are they too what would I say, assertive? Are they belligerent? So it's something that keeps me awake at night, and I hope that we come together as human race and address that. I mean, right now we're going through the problem with the Asians that are also being attacked for being Asian, and then that becomes between Asian and Black, and so I think that's the low-hanging fruit that everybody wants to hold on to because it's the most visible. Oh, let's attribute every problem to the race of the person and not try to understand that the person is deeper than the color of their skin. Let's get to know that person. Let's get to know what they have to offer. And maybe we'll see past what coloration, where they fit in the rainbow color.
Yeah, and and I so appreciate that, sister. You giving us a little bit of backdrop, but so also tell me, so amongst Black people in America, we have our differences amongst ourselves too. How are you acclimating? How is the Black community receiving Angolan community in Oregon? Are you finding that it's an easy transaction of interaction, or do you find that there are still some fragmentation in terms of how we incorporate or have relationships with one another?
Oh, well, that's another thing. That's also another bombarded and loaded question there. Frankly, coming from an honest point and just looking at our own failing as Black people, as a Black community, we do have to address those problems that we have, because we like to make distinction amongst ourselves as well. And that causes easiness for people to break us apart, because we are not really united as one front, because between amongst ourselves, we still discuss about the skin color, which is very sad when I hear the term that I learned here in America in my late 20s, which was light skin, not light skin. Well, we are Black. It doesn't matter if you are 99% white. In the law here in America, I believe it's 2% or whatever, your blood is Black, you are Black. So we need to unite it in the fact that we are Black. Like it or not, you might want to be a little bit brighter or lighter, you are Black. So we need to combat that, because I saw a documentary that really stayed with me up to today about the colorism here in America and the skin. That's another thing that's shocking to Africans. That's why I believe that a lot of Africans do not relate, because and also it's based on which country in Africa. Like, for example, in Angola, we growing, I would speak in my own experience, Black is Black, white is white. There's no like, oh, this is a little fair. This is, those things are not there. And then you come here and they're like, oh, your hair is not straight enough, or you're too black. And this is within our community. So going back to that, do we receive how do the community, the Black community receive the Angolan community? I don't know. The one that the Black American or the African Americans that I know, they've received as well. But at the same time, there is some of them that are just keeping their distances. Right. But most of the African American, actually, they're very, very nice. They're just nice to learn about, our culture, how they call it, and we have had nothing. If I have to look at it, the majority has been very accepting of us, and they're just happy that we are here as brothers and sisters.
Speak to me, sister. You are definitely frying this thing, and you doing very well with it. You come on, though. But let's come up out of this cellar here for a second. So tell me about some exciting things that you have been experiencing. What has been some of you guys' accomplishments and the things that you've been doing that's been keeping you smiling, keeping you excited and motivated?
We are very motivated. First of all, we are very motivated to see that our numbers are remaining the same right now this couple of weeks due to the spread of the vaccine and also the social distancing. So it's a reason to be happy. It's just a thought that we can go back to hugging our family members, to seeing our grandpas and nieces and nephews. That's by itself is a reason to keep smiling. We are alive and well, so thank God that we are here. So it's another great reason to be here and smiling. But as far as work, during the pandemic, actually was one of our, we saw the most engagement between us and the state of Oregon. We had the pleasure of working together with OHA and received a grant in funding our community so they can get through the restrictive time at the beginning of the pandemic. We were given masks, we were given food allocations, so we were able to work together with OHA, with Oregon Health Authority, in making sure that everybody knows about all the safety measure that the CDC was coming up with, that we not just know about it, but apply those. So we worked with them in the outreach of a community, not just the Angolan community, but other African community and other non-African community in general. So we are busy doing this. This year, we've been busy doing the vaccine, the vaccination campaign, letting people know about the vaccine, the pro and the con, being open for our Black community, which vaccine is a very touching subject, both not just American Black community, but also African Black community. That's something that unites us regarding mass vaccination in our community. So getting to basically understand what the vaccine is, what does it offer us, who is getting vaccinated, that does not, so that we can avoid the vaccine reticency that we see in our community, where there is a little bit of, oh, I'm going to hold off to this vaccine until some other communities are vaccinated. So that's really keeping us busy. We are also busy planning for the after the pandemic, because we need to believe that these things also shall pass. We as African, we as Black people, we know the meaning of this too shall pass. So as believer, this too shall pass. This is not where we end as a people. So Amen. Yes, we're very busy in promoting that.
So, and I do appreciate your passion. I really do. And your smile, and I can see in your eyes that you're inspired. But here, give me an opportunity, give people an opportunity, tell some females in this world of nonprofits, what advice would you be giving a female today that are listening community? What advice would you give females in the nonprofit sector?
I would say for those who want to get into the nonprofit, first of all, you need to understand why do you want to do this, because this is a work sometimes. It's not rewarding. There is no money in it, but there is joy and there's joy, a lot of joy in it. This is something that you're doing selflessly, selflessly for your community. So you need to really be dedicated to this cause, to this passion. You need to figure out the reasons, and they have to be right reasons to get into this, because there are days where you're like, no, I'm done with this. So that's why your faith in this needs to be strong. So keep going, keep on helping your community. Just stone by stone, we're going to build this skyscraper. And don't give up. One thing that I learned from my father is that your life is fulfilled when you put it to the service of others, of your community. I never understood why he wrote this in a family album, but now as an adult, I am now understanding, because I saw my father doing work for our community, for his community. I did not understand, why did we have to have people in our house, people that we didn't know? And so it's something, it's that passion that was passed down to me to help my brothers and sisters, to help us all climb up that podium, get out of whatever circumstances that keep us on the bottom. So if we are holding hands and we help each other, we are going to be, many of us on top, many of us sitting in those rooms where those decisions are being made, and our voices will be heard. So for those who are passionate about this, challenges are many, but there is always, if you knock doors, there is always a door that is going to open, and that is going to help you get past it. For those who are already in, keep on keeping. It's you know what it is. We're going to get there, and we have to inspire others. We have to pull others into it. We have to do some volunteering work in our community. That's something that's missing in our community. But I see athletes, I see movie star, I see just regular Joes doing great jobs. So we all have it in us to do something for our communities.
Look out, y'all. Mimi on the rise. Yo, you know, Mimi, and I got much respect and love for your sister, because as I've been listening to you speak, you started out, you had a little bit of a brow, in this conversation. As we got down this road here, you got lighter and lighter, and now you like glowing right about now. So I want you to know that you're absolutely gorgeous. You're glowing. And so tell me, so as you sit back and you think for a second, so what's next for Mimi? What's the long-term goals and professional goals for Mimi today? What's some of your long-term goals? Yeah. I mean, where you going? You got to, because we need to keep an eye on you, because but we know you might be sitting somewhere where we need to know and support you sitting there.
Where I'm going, oh well, I'm going where God is taking me. I do this nonprofit, but I'm also a career woman. I'm a mom above all, and I'm a community person above all. Those are the things that inspire me. Being a mother, being a sister, being a friend, being a neighbor. Those are the things that I look forward to see my neighbors, to see my kids, to see my family member. But at the same time, I work. I'm an engineer. And yes, I want to progress in my career. Right now I used to do facilities electrical engineer. Now I'm a data center manager. I hope to be able to manage many data centers in the world, and not just come up with standard. And now we will be building the data centers of the future. As far as my community work, I want to be able to not just inspire our Angolan or Oregonian community, but that we unite as a Black community all over the world, not just African. We need to stop defining ourselves as African American. We are Black. We are Black. That's maybe not a good definition, but we know where we come from. Knowing where we come from, that's a position of strength. Because when we know what we are, nobody's going to tell us different. So we need to. My future is to be able to speak to all Black people, regardless of where they are, geologically or located. That we are brother and sister, stronger together. When we know we are powerful, we are a powerful race. We just need to know that we are, and believe that we are, and we will achieve whatever we are set to achieve. I always listen to a preaching that says, the reason you have so much, what would I say? The reason they're fighting you too much because they know how powerful you are.
Woo!
If you are not powerful, nobody will deal with you. They will just leave you alone. But you are being fought because they know what you are capable of. So we need to understand that, and we need to believe that we are capable of much more than what we believe we are.
Me. You, girl, you rocking their world right about now. Because when you said that at one time in Angola, there was a woman that was the head of some stuff, girl, you got that blood running in you. And I can see it. I can see it in you. You're going to be running some shit. Excuse me, the expression, you're going to be running some stuff here in a minute. Yeah. Uh, Sister, tell me, how could our listeners contact you and get a hold of you?
You can reach us. We have a website, which is angolansOregon.org. We are also present on Facebook. It's just Angolan Community of Oregon. You can reach us via email at angolanCommunity@gmail.com. Or you can just come and floss in the website and look at this this conversation and send a message, and I'll reach you back. So there's just so many ways. There's only one Angolan community here in Oregon. So with whatever Angolan you meet, you are set to reach many of us and reach me, hopefully.
Thank you, Mimi. So Mimi, and I usually ask this a little bit early, but is there anything and any question that I might have missed asking you that you believe that you would like to say on this podcast today that I might have missed?
No, again, thank you very much for having us here. This is a great joy. It's a great opportunity for Angolans, being a country that speaks Portuguese, and we are so few of us, and it's a little harder to integrate in the English speaking countries or French speaking. We're always forgotten because of our Portuguese speaking. But I believe that you asked all the relevant questions, and I look forward to having this conversation back again and bringing some more exciting things that are happening here in Oregon. I would like to see our community, our Black community, growing here in Oregon, and we need to support each other, and we need to bring it to the table.
Thank you, Mimi. And for those who are listening, Mimi, did you you were familiar with the Oregon CARES Act, right?
Yes.
Did by any chance were you guys supported through the campaign? And did you guys, did you weather the COVID situation, and was there any assistance from the CARES Act for you guys?
Indeed. Yes, there was assistance from the CARES Act. It was another community, African community, the Togo community, and I would like to send a shout out to them as well. That actually has been very supportive. The librarian community as well has been very supporting as far as providing every Friday food baskets for our community. So yes, and they told us about the CARES Act fund, and we applied, and we were granted some fund for masks as well as some relief during the COVID, the COVID, the strong period of COVID dissipation. But we are hopefully doing much better, and that fund has been very, very helpful for our community. One thing that I was a little sad of knowing was that very few of our African, not just African, but Black community applied for the fund or actually got to receive this fund. Those funds are there for us.
Right.
There might be some difficult question that comes up that make us give up, but we shouldn't give up. We should go back to the person asking those questions and see if they can help us so we can get those funds. They are funds to help our communities.
Thank you very much. Sister, I am just feel so blessed to have met you, Mimi, and be on this show. Thank you for being part of our show, where we take pride in improving people's perceptions of capability, significance, and influence. in their lives and in the lives of others in their community. I so humbly appreciate you, sister, and thank you for allowing us to be a part of your life.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing many more of your shows.
Sister, you have a great afternoon, and it's Friday, so let's do what we do, right?
Exactly. Let's do what we do. Thank you, and have a pleasant
next
afternoon.
time. Yes. Okay, sister. Bye.
Take it away, feeling too good to me. Chilling all day, all in your space is where I wanna be. Here in this room, what did you do? I just can't get enough. Too caught up in your love.